African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of August 31st, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized brigades and an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Aleksivka, Velikaya Berezka, Kyanitsa, and Krapovshchina in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, defeat was inflicted on units of a mechanized brigade and an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Ambarno and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The enemy lost up to 170 servicemen, a tank, an armored combat vehicle, 8 vehicles, and 2 artillery guns. 4 electronic warfare stations, 4 ammunition depots, and 5 supply depots were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position. Defeat was inflicted on personnel and equipment of mechanized, airborne assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Special Purpose Center of the Main Intelligence Directorate in the areas of the settlements Kamenka, Kupiansk, Petrovskoye in the Kharkiv region, and Derilovo in the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of the Armed Forces of Ukraine amounted to over 235 servicemen, 2 tanks, 5 armored combat vehicles, including 2 of Western production, 13 vehicles, and 2 field artillery guns produced by NATO countries. 7 electronic warfare stations, a counter-battery warfare station, and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. Defeat was inflicted on formations of 2 mechanized, airborne assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Stranovka, Ivanopoli, Seversky, and Yablanovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost over 205 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 7 vehicles, and 7 artillery guns. 2 ammunition depots and 2 supply depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group improved their position along the front line. Defeat was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, 3 airborne assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades, and 2 Marine brigades in the areas of the settlements Artemovka, Belitskoye, Volnoy, Zolotoy Kolodez, Krasnoarmysk, Kutuzovka, Novotroitskoye, and Novy Donbass in the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 440 servicemen, a tank, 4 armored combat vehicles, 5 vehicles, and 2 artillery guns. Units of the East Troop Group continued to advance deep into the enemy's defense. Defeated were formations of 2 mechanized brigades, an assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Velikomikhailovka, Malomikhailovka, Sosnovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region, Zeleny, Novoivanovka, and Olhovskoye in the Zaporizhia region. The enemy lost up to 230 servicemen, a tank, 2 armored combat vehicles, 14 cars, and 4 field artillery guns, including 2 of Western manufacture. An ammunition depot was destroyed. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 3 brigades of the Coastal Defense of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard regiment in the areas of the settlements Otradokomenka, Lvovo, Antonovka, and Dniprovsko in the Kherson region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 60 servicemen, 10 vehicles, a Strela-10 surface-to-air missile system launcher, and 6 electronic warfare stations. 3 ammunition depots and 3 supply depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation troop groups inflicted damage on port infrastructure used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine and its Norwegian-made NASAMS air defense missile system, as well as on temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 156 areas. Air defense means shot down 3 HIMARS multiple launch rocket system rockets of U.S. manufacture, 2 guided aerial bombs, and 112 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the start of the special military operation, destroyed are 666 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 80,712 unmanned aerial vehicles, 626 surface-to-air missile systems, 24,897 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,588 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 29,118 field artillery guns and mortars, 40,751 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.